Hey Kevin, so we've been talking in some of our past videos going through air freight for the first quarter, and then we covered the month of April. Tell us a little bit about what went on in the month of May.
All right. Yeah, it's, the first quarter was fairly normal, and then as we moved into the second quarter with April, and then especially May, April was the bulk of your lockdowns going on with COVID. And then as we moved into the month of May, we started having, some release in the market, but not a whole lot. So, what happened in the month of May was we had about a 20% decrease from May 2019 in air freight. So the air cargo market dropped by 20%. Comparing that to the month of April, it was down about 25% in the month of April. So, it's less, but it's still really, really bad. Right. So the pace of the slowing, you can see it's not slowing as bad. And so it looks like we're coming back up out of COVID lockdown type stuff. So it was the third consecutive month of double-digit declines, which as far as I know, is historically crazy. So we've never had something like that go on. So, I'm just going to write a few of these key points up here. In the month of May 2020, we're down 20%. And what's contributing to this? Well, we all know we were sitting at home basically. Everybody in the country moved into basically our houses, and a lot of businesses shut down, and so there was a lot of things contributing to the slowdown. Manufacturing decreased, but what we saw with manufacturing that it on the decline here, there was some kind of stabilization. So with manufacturing, it was decreasing, but it started stabilizing in the month of May. So it's kind of like we came down, and we came down, it looks like, to about as low as we could. It's interesting, in China, they track something called, what is it called? The Purchasing Managers Index. In China, for instance, on their exports, they had, in the month of May, we had our third month of increases. So, and this is on exports, and this is manufacturing. So what it's tied to is the exports of the manufacturing. So China, things are coming back online a little bit, okay? So we're coming out of this lockdown a little bit. One of the things that's crazy about what happened in May is our delivery timelines got pushed out. So air freight, air cargo is obviously a premium product, and you're typically paying for really good delivery times. Well, our delivery times were being extended. So delivery times were extended. Now, the main reason for this, it's kind of crazy. Typically, in a slowing market like this, you would have additional capacity, but that wasn't the case. We had delivery timelines were being extended partly because there wasn't any capacity. So a lot of air cargo obviously moves on passenger flights and international flights. Well, the flights all got shut down. Not all of them, but our flights, international belly cargo capacity was down 66%. Wow. So just a crazy change. So you had a 66.4 actually percent drop in belly capacity. Nobody can read that. Well, so part of this just is driven by canceled international flights. That's pretty much what's going on. Now, the other thing that happened that's interesting with this is our freighter capacity, which freighters are, your cargo planes that just run cargo, the freighter capacity jumped by 25%. So to offset for this drop, we had a 25, I think at 0.1% increase. So freighter capacity jumped up just so we could move the air freight we needed. There's something called a load factor. The load factor was actually in a positive area and rates went up, partly because of disruption here, that there wasn't enough capacity to move the existing amount of freight, which is really a bizarre circumstance that volumes drop, but then capacity dropped more. So we still had just unusual, it was just a crazy time. You have a lack of cargo capacity even though you got a 20% drop. On the international markets, it's interesting because there was some regional things. So on an international side, because this gets kind of interesting, you had some areas, some continents like Africa, it was only down 6%. So, you know, when you look at a 20% drop, down 6% in Africa, that's not that big of a deal.
Right.
North America was only down 9%. But then you've got some areas like Europe, they were down 29.7%. So you see Europe's down, you know, 2 or 3 times Africa. Well, yeah, 3 times almost, well, 5 times almost, and 3 times almost North America. So what we see going on in the month of May is, okay, we've come down in April, we've probably bottomed, and we're maybe not losing as much, but it's still really bad. Interesting thing is what we'll see next month, maybe in the month of June. What's going to happen as economies open up? You know, your lockdowns pretty much are going away, and you know what's going to go on in the international markets and with air cargo. So we'll hopefully have an update for y'all on the month of June as our next video update.